Well, another thing we want to talk about from Matthew 1 and biblical theology is the idea of Jesus and Joshua. And I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but I remember as a small child, someone pointed this out to me. I think I was about 10 years old, and the thought has stayed with me. The more I think about it, the more beautiful the picture becomes. So let's look at this together today. This is BibleWorks, and I just typed in the word Jesus, and you can see press return, and very early God instructs Mary through an angel and says to her, she will bear, speaking to Joseph here, I think, she will bear a son, and you will call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. And so the term Jesus and the term salvation are connected by this verse. Now, that's if we do the word Jesus. If we go to the Greek text, we will find, let me find a good passage for us. Okay, so this is the word Jesus. So you can even hear that, Jesus, and Jesus has gone into Latin, and then over the years has been anglicized to Jesus. But this is the word, Jesus, that appears thousands of times in the Bible. Now, instead of doing the search on Jesus, let's do the search on this Greek word. And if we do that, I'm just say do a lemma search, which means search every place the root of this word appears. And when we do that, let's just get one we can see. You can see that this is the same word, but now the word Jesus is appearing in the book of Exodus. And if we change this over to the ESV, we'll see that that word Jesus is the word Joshua. So it isn't like they're two different words. The word Jesus and the word Joshua are exactly the same word in the Greek Bible. So when God instructs Joseph to name Mary's child, of all the names he picks out the name Joshua. That's what people would have heard when Jesus' name was spoken. They would have heard the word Joshua. And if we ask, well, how is Jesus connected with Joshua? Well, there are many ways. Moses can't get the people into the promised land. Moses leads them to a field of thorns, Abel, Shittim, but he can't go in because he's broken the law until this really cool guy named Jesus comes along. And Jesus can lead the people into the promised land. And you think about that in terms of the metanarrative, that God intended that Moses, the lawgiver, could never bring the people in because there was something lacking in the ministry of Moses, that it would take more. It would take the ministry of Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah, to bring the people in. When you look at Jesus' baptism at Bethany beyond the Jordan, that's at the Abel Shittim crossing. When you look at the Canaanite kings being killed and hung on trees and then put in a cave with a rock over its mouth, you realize that Jesus, in bringing salvation to the Canaanite woman and her demon-possessed child, that the way he was able to do that is by becoming the Canaanite curse. And so he was hung on a tree, cursed by God until evening. He was put into a cave. A rock was put over its mouth, but he's not there to this day because he had the power to raise himself from the dead. Jesus is the one who tears down the strongholds of sin in our lives. He will save his people not from the Canaanites, but he will save his people from the Canaanites within, because he's the one who's able to kill the old man of the flesh, and then to give a new heart, and to cause his people to walk into the ways of God. And so as we think about Matthew 1 in biblical theology, one of the things we want to think about is Jesus as the new Joshua, and Jesus is the one who saves us from the Canaanite curse.